All right. Afternoon, everybody. My name is Lauren Salter. I'm our Senior Director of Unified Champion Schools for Special Olympics Pennsylvania. I am going to run us through kind of what does postseason look like for track and field this year, and it's going to be extremely similar and exactly the same as last year. So if you are returning school, this is going to sound super familiar, but always a good refresher. If you're brand new, definitely good for you all to hear this information. And then if you have any questions, we'll have time at the end to answer them. You don't have to hold on to them. Please feel free to go ahead and drop them directly into the chat as we move through the slide deck here. You will get a copy of the slide deck, and then you will be able to ask any questions that you need to. So really what we're going to go through is, what does postseason look like? What does states look like if you qualify for states? What paperwork do you need? And then once you get to qualify for states, what all is going to be provided for you versus what do we need for you to provide for your team to attend that type of event, right? So we'll shake through all that. If you got questions, drop them into the chat. We'll answer them at the end. This is a super small crowd, which lends itself well. So if we need to unmute some folks and you want to ask some questions, by all means, we can definitely do that as well. This should be a pretty short presentation as well. It's pretty cut and dry information. However, I'm here to help answer any questions that you might have so you feel comfortable in making that decision if your team wants to move on to postseason. All right. So if you are looking to head into state, so there's a couple different qualifying things that you can do in postseason. We are primarily looking at what does the PIAA SOPA state championships look like, which is conducted over at Shippensburg University. It is over Memorial Day weekend, so we're looking at Friday, May 22nd into Saturday, May 23rd. So teams will come in on that Friday. We'll do field events, and then Saturday we do track events, right? So we have those timelines there. And you'll also get a packet of this information. So please don't think you'll get the slide deck and a packet of information. So you can scribble notes if you want to, but I'm also going to give this to you in print. So there's some different things that we're going to need if we're looking at potentially going into states. As I mentioned, that there's a couple different opportunities that exist in postseason. So whether you want to attend states at Shippensburg University, or if you're saying, hey, you know what, league championships would be great for us, we're solid with that. That is also an opportunity as well. So we'll go through all of those different things. So if you're looking at states, that includes regionals. So if you're doing regionals, you're doing states, those are a package deal. On April 3rd is when we're going to need your LOI, or what we call a letter of intent, that says, yes, we are interested, or no, we are not interested. That helps us plan how many regionals that we need to have and how many teams and where those teams are going. Right. So that's why that information is super duper important. On April 17th, if you are planning to go to that state level event, then your roster of 14 students is going to be due, saying that these are the folks that you want to take to states. You're going to have to define those individuals. For any team that comes to Shippensburg, whether you have 40 people on your team or you have 12 people on your team, your roster has to be made up at 12 people, right? That's a non-negotiable, working with the timelines of PIAA. All 9 teams that qualify are 12 people. We allow for 14 student athletes to compete at regional events. So you have 2 alternates that you can activate if you need to, right? So if is some attrition, you've got a couple backup folks. Just be incredibly clear with those students, because you're going to have to decide who those alternates are, that they go to regionals, but if somebody doesn't bow out, that they are not going to states. We are very, very limited to the amount of housing space that we have. So we cannot just house all the alternates and then activate them day of, right? So we'll need to know that in advance so we can accommodate them within housing for those 12 competing student athletes. We'll have regional events that are held throughout the state. Last year we had 4 of them. So that is all the schools that express interest will go to regionals. That's where it's a little bit different from bocce, right? So you have to do your LOI, you go through your league championships, you go to a regional event, and you have to win, 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 win. states. So I'm going to go to this regional event.
Lauren,
Type of
you had cut
time.
out there for a minute. I'm not sure if that was you cutting out or if that was my on my end, but I don't think anybody heard what you had just said there. Emily shaking
All
her
right.
head no. I think you cut out, yeah.
Wonderful. I love my internet connection. So for regional events, did you people stuff? How long was I cut out for?
Um, Pretty much this whole slide, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's kind of happening
So
again.
let's go. Let's go off. Let's go off camera. See if that. Maybe. Steph, are you able to hear me at all? Okay, perfect. All right.
Yep.
So diving back in here, we're going to hope that just me being off camera is going to be a little bit helpful with this. So the dates here are listed for you. Letter of intent, incredibly important. Please have that in by the 3rd. If you would like to go to states, that means your team will have to compete in a regional event. And on April 17th, you're going to have to declare 14 students to compete at that regional event. 2 of those students are going to be alternates. Please have that conversation early with your team to define who those alternates are. Because if that team qualifies, 2 of those students are not going to compete. Okay. So just being very clear with your team what the expectations are, who is coming to that event, right? Teams can participate in a league and or regional slash states. So if you qualify for your league championships, you don't necessarily have to go to states. Okay. That's what that LOI is going to help us define. So the information that we're going to need if you are going to Shippensburg is going to be on the 17th again, May 22nd and May 23rd, or our state championship event at Shippensburg University. How you qualify for your league championship is through your regular season meets. So points are going to be given based upon your overall team finish through the regular season meets. So every time that you place first in that tri meet, you're going to receive 5 points. Anytime you place second in that tri meet, you're going to receive 3 points. And if you place third, you're going to receive 1 point. So those points will accumulate throughout the season. And that's how you're going to qualify for that league championship event. Okay. So those league championships are going to be composed of the top 4 or 6 teams within a given league based upon those points earned. And that's how you're going to get invited to that league championship. So both LOI and non-LOI schools, as long as they qualify, are eligible to participate in this championship. Again, that number 4 to 6, there's that range, is all based upon the region itself and that league itself. And your direct contact from SOPA will let you know exactly how that is. Some leagues are bigger, some leagues are smaller. That's why there's that slight range of what that max amount of schools qualifying is going to end up being. Okay. So the entire qualifying team at this league championship can compete. So if you got a team of 40, all 40 can participate at this league championship event, right? Got a team of 12, all 12 of them are going to participate. So anything that you have for a full team can participate in that. Tabulator is going to be in place and awards will be given, right? That's what you can expect at that league championship. So your regional championships, again, are based on interest to advance to states. So these schools put in that LOI. They are still eligible to compete in the league championship, but they have that's as an additional opportunity. They have to compete at regionals to qualify to go to states. April 3rd is when that LOI or letter of intent is due. April 17th is when your roster is due to tell us who's competing. The location will be based upon uh, where everybody is coming from, and we'll define where that location is in advance. So once we have all of those LOIs in, we can give you the host site and where you will be assigned to compete at, and then how many allocations are being given per regional, right? Here's a quick typo on here. 9 total teams will qualify to advance to states, right? So we used to have 8 slots. We now have 9 for about the past 3 years, which is pretty awesome that we're able to have that opportunity. So these events will not have a scored. We'll have a weighted tabulator, so everything is going to be scored straight up. So there's not going to be any weight, right? Everybody has the exact same number of folks. They're having 14 students that are participating. Okay. Again, only 12 members are going to be able to participate at states. Only 12 members will be housed at states for clarity as well, right? So nobody more beyond that 12 for that. Housing is extremely tight. Please be extremely clear to your team and who those alternates are. They only attend if 2 members from the team or another person cannot attend for whatever reason, right? Please make sure that you're choosing students that are most appropriate for states. If you're interested, please take into factors considerations such as housing of males and females are going to be in the same building. They're on separate floors. So it is divvied up that there's a men's floor and that there's a women's floor. They will be away from their parents overnight. Parents are not allowed in the building. Nobody is allowed in that housing without clearances, right? So that is direct support staff for the team, coaches, assistant coaches, staff. Those are the only people that are going to be in that building, right? So no parents are going to be in there. Please take into account any type of noise factor around the stadium. There are 3,000 screaming, excited fans in those stands, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So as you're looking at selecting individuals that can participate, please just take that into consideration, making sure that we want to provide a really great experience for everybody. It's not everybody's jam to be in that type of situation, right? We want to see them thrive and not struggle. It is a fully outdoor event. It is rain or shine. So if it's a little bit windy, we might have some delays, especially with rain or whatnot. The only time that we really pause is if there is thunderstorm, thunder, lightning storms. We'll take a pause. We'll go back into competition as soon as we can after that. They have to be extremely flexible. You and your student athletes need to be super flexible. There can be last minute changes. We're working very closely with the PIAA. We are linked right in with them as we go through all of those events. So at Shippensburg, it will run men's, women's unified in the 1, 4, 8 track events. And then in our 4x1, we don't run a 4x4 at states, just for clarity for everybody. And then we do all of our field events on Friday. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the paperwork. Everybody's favorite subject, our very favorite thing to collect from all of you. April 3rd. I know these are going to sound like very redundant dates. Lauren, you've told us 6 times that on April 3rd, our LOI is due. Please do not email your liaison and say, I didn't know when the LOI was due. It's April 3rd. April 3rd, your LOIs are due. Let us know. Take into consideration, it's Memorial Day weekend. You can only have 12 people coming. You're going to need 3 coaches. Do you have at least 1 male and 1 female coach that can attend? Do you have any one-on-one supports that are a part of somebody's regular IEP? And are they willing to stay in a dorm room? And when I say dorm room, if you are of the millennial generation or earlier, think of what your earliest college experience was with a dorm room. That's what you're getting. Okay. So none of this fancy stuff that we have now, but it is an older dorm, just for clarity of what they're getting into. It's 1 night. It's not that bad. It's still a really great experience, but just so that there is no surprises. Spectators are going to be expected to pay their own housing and entry fees into the meet. This is a PIAA meet. There is a fee that exists. It was $8 per person last year. It's all online, so we'll make sure that that link is provided to you as well for folks to be able, to purchase tickets in advance. Everything is electronic, right? So they'll have to purchase some tickets online. May 15th is when I'm going to need all the paperwork from those teams that qualify through regionals about who's attending, all their housing, all the qualifying times and distances. take all that information and I have to plug that into MileSplit, provide information to Shippensburg about who is coming and where they are going. Here's a little bit about what your LOI will look like, right? Again, April 3rd, my friends, you're going to mark, do you want to attend regionals in states? Yes, no. You don't want to attend regionals in states. There's not a right or wrong answer. You choose what is best for your school. It's an awesome event. It's one of my very, very favorite events throughout the whole year. And we definitely would love to see as many people attend as possible, right? Just take everything into consideration. Graduation, Memorial Day weekend, all of that good stuff. Those conversations should happen now. You'll get a housing form. Again, I'm not going to harp on this too much because this is something that's going to come to you a little bit later, but just understanding that it'll be 2 people per room that are going into a dorm room. There are 2 separate beds in that room. This will just help us know who needs to go on what floor, right? Who's housing with who? I'll let you define that. Right, this is a little bit about our dorm hall. All participants in schools are expected to stay in the dorm. There is limited hotel space outside of ship. I do have a few rooms reserved for bus drivers. So bus drivers will stay off campus and we'll give them housing as well. On those housing forms, there will be a bus driver form as well, so we can make sure that we have them accommodated. It'll be 2 students per room, same gender. Uh, Athletes will be paired up with athletes, partners are paired up with partners, and this is all based upon Special Olympics housing policy. So if you're wondering where this came from, this is consistent with that. If you have uh, anybody that partners and athletes that want to house together, we just need permission from parents that give us consent that they are being housed together. Or if you have different gendered siblings that want to room together, we just need written permission from the guardian that says that that's okay, right? We work in a 4-to-1 ratio with Special Olympics, so if anybody needs additional support, well, I'll have you put that in that housing as well. Please know that we are very limited in housing, so we cannot have everybody on your team that is an athlete to have a one-on-one coming with them as well, right? And they will have to have all their clearances. Bus drivers will house overnight, not a problem. We'll put them up in a local hotel. By local, I mean about 35 minutes out. That's about what the drive time is, just to be completely transparent about that. So they won't be staying in the dorms. Only the official team members and coaches and SOPA staff will be staying in that dorm. So you will have folks that are directly accessible from SOPA in that same dorm hall. We'll all be in one space. Nobody else aside from us, your teams, and then grad students that are there for the summer are in that building that have clearances to be in the building. Okay. So just being aware, they will not be mixed in the same floors as what we are, for clarity. Again, I'll have you do a housing form for coaches as well. As much as I would love to give you all your own single rooms, that is not going to be the case. So I will pair up coaches as much as possible. If we are super duper tight on rooms and you are the only female or male coach from your team, and then there is another orphan coach from another team, I will contact you both and see if you guys are cool in sharing that room. Again, 2 separate beds, have space. There is a communal bathroom on each floor. So just when I say old style dorm rooms, that's what we're talking about is old style dorm rooms. Okay. Right. A little bit about who's going to be providing what. So what do you need to provide? You need to bring your 12 team members, which should be a 5-to-7 ratio or 6-and-6. Either way works for me. Transportation to and from Shippensburg. All the facilities are within walking distance. So once you get there, get everything into the dorm. The track is a short walk from the dorm, and the dining hall is directly next door. Right. So everything that we need is very, very close to us. Again, drop off is going to be on the 22nd. It can be from 10 to 12 on the 22nd, and then your departure is going to be estimated between like a 4 and a 5 p.m. on the 23rd. Right. You're going to need 3 coaches per team. Minimally, you're going to need at least 1 coach per gender. And then the other one can be of either or. So we're making sure that we're accommodating 1 coach per every 4 student athletes that you have. Coaches will need, and this is from Shippensburg directly on the housing form, it's going to ask you what your clearance dates are. I won't need copies. I'm just going to need just the dates to show that they're valid. Okay. Your team will also have to make sure that they all come dressed appropriately in their track uniforms. And they will have to have their solid color white shirts underneath if they are choosing to do that, along with their sneakers. If they are not appropriately set in uniform, they won't compete. So please make sure that they are in their proper uniforms. They will need to have completed a PIAA form. If they are doing anything with unified track and field at all, they should have their medical done anyway, so that should be a non-factor, and they should have their waiver because they can't get on your roster if they don't complete a waiver to begin with, right? So here's what we'll do for y'all. So what we'll provide is we will bring all the sport equipment, including brand new bibs. We have brand new branded bibs that will be assigned to each student athlete. So you don't have to bring your bibs, right? They will get brand new ones that they will have to put on. We'll bring all the sport equipment. So all the field equipment, everything that we need will be provided. Can you bring that to practice? Absolutely. Put your school name on it somewhere so it doesn't get mixed up with somebody else's stuff. All right. But what will be used to compete is our equipment that SOPA is providing. We'll administer all the logistics. So we're working with PIAA on the schedules. We'll manage the divisions. We'll do the awards. We'll have a number of staff liaisons that are on site working directly with PIAA and their officials. So I do a officials training on any adaptations that we have on our rules at that same coaches or officials meeting prior to the event. We'll cover all the housing on Friday night. And as far as meals, we will take care of lunch and dinner on Friday. And on Saturday, we will take care of breakfast, lunch. These are all at that dining hall. And for dinner, you're going to see an asterisk there. A meal stipend will be provided of $10 per person for each athlete and coach that is on your team to travel home and purchase a meal. I won't ask for receipts. I will give you cash at our coaches meeting on Friday night and ask you to sign off on the amount and confirm the number of individuals that are traveling with you as a part of your official team, right? So that'll take care of the meals for you on Saturday as you all travel back. If you're not familiar with Shippensburg University, we compete at Seth Grove Stadium. It's a 9-lane, all-weather, beautiful track. And then we will run all of our track events there, as well as the running long jump is on that infield that is directly in front of the stands. And then outside of that track area is where we do the mini jav and the shot put. Events that we offered, everything that we do through regular season except for the 4x4. It's the only exception. And remember, and it's in the guidebook as well, that for the 800 meters, for somebody to run at States, they need to at least run a 3:30 to be able to qualify to run the 800 at States. For your relays, a school can have one 4x4. So you're not going to have 2, you're only going to have 1. So you're going to have to select those. And I'm going to make sure that I have good numbers on your qualifying time for your relay teams. Okay. So 2 athletes, 2 partners, 1 relay team for your 4x1. And you'll get this slide deck, like I said, so you can get a little bit of a snapshot of what the schedule looks like each day. But from check-in until the end of the first day on Friday, we're really looking at like a 10 to noon for check-in. We'll do some warm-ups. We have a tent area outside of the stadium right next to where the javelin will take place. So we'll set up shop there and have a few tents. We'll have snacks. We'll have Gatorades, waters, that sort of thing. And we'll set up all of our divisions there. And then our staff will help move you from that tent area, those competing athletes and partners, to wherever they're competing, whether it's the track or their respective field event area. We'll wrap up by 5, and then y'all are off to dinner. As coaches, you're responsible for your teams. Go have dinner, have a fantastic time, have some free time, hang out with the other student athletes that are all over campus. You're intermingled right with them. And then by 9, if that changes, we'll send you a note that says, "Hey, we're going to meet in this room at this time to review everything for coaches." Saturday starts out by 10:30. And again, this is a tentative schedule, so I'm not going to harp on this too bad, but we will run all of the track and relay events on Saturday. And generally, we're wrapping up realistically around 4. Then by the time you get back to the dorms, check out, hand me your physical key before you leave. It's $100 per key if you lose your key to those dorm halls. And then y'all are headed back home. Some expectations before and at the event that we need from you all as coaches, making sure that everything is submitted on time. We will provide you a what to bring list because you're going to need some toiletries, you're going to need bedding, you'll get a whole packet of information and things that you'll need, making sure their uniforms are with them, medications, the team knows where they need to be and when they need to be there. Supervise their free time, please. Watch what they're eating at the dining hall. It is an open dining hall. There's a lot of options. And there is if some folks tend to maybe not make the best choices or tend to sometimes eat too much, that you can assist them in making sure that they're doing what is best for them, right? Not everybody is used to having that type of selection available to them. It is a pretty crowded dining hall as well, so just assisting them and making sure that they're navigating everything all right can be a little bit overwhelming if it's something they haven't experienced before. You're going to check in prior to departure. I need to have a key from every room before you leave. And then just making sure that anything that was at the stadium is picked up and taken with you. So we like to leave our area nice and clean. All right. So I know I threw a lot at you pretty quickly. I'm going to stop share. I'm going to open up the chat here real quick. I'm going to see if we've got any questions. Okay. I don't see any questions, but if anybody has any, feel free to unmute yourself at this point. Like I said, it's a pretty small crowd. We can just have a quick conversation if anybody has any questions, or if you just need a little time to digest, get this slide deck, and then follow up with your liaison. That's entirely acceptable as well. First call. Second call.
Oh, I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was going to, this is related to the regular season meeting.
Sure.
I was going to attend the second one, but then it got canceled. And then the first recording, I guess Brandon said the first meeting wasn't recorded. So I'm just curious if there's anything from that meeting that is not in the PowerPoint that's important.
No, if it's the slide deck is what captures everything. But
okay, I read
along
through
with
that.
the recording of this, yeah, and yeah, that has all the pertinent information in it, Emily. But you will get the recording along with this recording and this slide deck when Brandon sends this stuff out. So that'll be included in it. I had some trouble uploading it into YouTube, so I'm gonna package deal them, so you'll still get it. But
all right, I
to
just wanted to
save you an hour, no.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? All right. Well, I appreciate all of your time today. Thank you for jumping on. I know it's an incredibly busy time of year. So best of luck throughout your season. There is beautiful weather coming, so please take advantage of it. Get all the vitamin D, get your kiddos out there on the track. If you have questions as you're training or trying to select events, we are here to support you. So I know this is related to postseason, but please know that we got you regardless. All right. So reach out. We'd love to help you, support you, and looking forward to a really great track season this year. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.